There's over 30 skills in eFootball, and I'm going to share with you the top 3 most effective skills right now. I'm going to provide my reasoning why they're my top 3. I'm going to teach you how to perform each one. I'll show you when and where you should be using these skills and explain why they're just so effective. I will be ranking all of these 3 skills. The great thing about these 3 skills is they're easy to perform. Anyone with a little bit of practice can pull them off. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is turn off auto feint. The reason being is that one of these skills becomes less effective without it, as it takes longer to perform that skill move, rendering it pretty much useless. In third place is the double touch, or la croqueta. This is ideal in the wide areas facing up directly against your opponent, but it can be used anywhere on the pitch. Anyone can perform a double touch, but your player will need the double touch player skill to perform this adequately. If your player has flip flap and soul control as well as the double touch, he's going to be able to perform this move even quicker. But if your opponent has supporting defenders, always go to the side where there is a lack of cover. This is especially useful when near the byline, because almost everyone expects you to cut inside and try and curl a shot into the top corner. Go along the byline and then pull that ball back for someone waiting in the box. To perform the double touch, all you need to do is release both analog sticks, push the right analog stick 90 degrees from the way the player is facing, and then push the left analog stick to the way the player is facing. So if you are moving to the right, release both analog sticks, push the right analog stick directly up or down, and then the left analog stick to the right. In second place is the scissor feint. Your player will need the scissor feint player skill to perform this move. You can perform this whilst your player is stationary or whilst moving. Whilst moving at high speed, you can perform multiple stepovers. The scissor feint comes in at second place for 2 reasons. It disengages your opponent's automated lock-on defending, and what I mean by that is the current state of eFootball, defenders lock onto you like homing missiles, but the scissor feint acts like chaff. It completely confuses and throws the defenders off, just like chaff would for a homing missile. The scissor feint is also great for turning 90 degrees very quickly. So when performing this skill, you can change the direction of the left analog stick, allowing you to exit, cancelling the step over action, and your player will turn sharply and quickly with no loss of speed and movement, again whilst disengaging that automated lock-on from defenders. The skill can be pretty much used anywhere on the pitch, but ideally in your offensive half. The great thing about the scissor feint is that you can use it repeatedly, and there's not much your opponent can do to stop it, and they're going to end up getting frustrated and trying to foul you. But because it disengages the tracking, they'll often be sliding and shoulder barging in the wrong direction. To perform the scissor feint, release all of your controls, whether you're stationary, walking, jogging or sprinting. Push the right analog stick 90 degrees from the way your player is facing to perform the scissor feint. So if you're moving to the right, release both analog sticks, push the right analog stick up or down to perform a scissor feint. To perform multiple scissor feints, firstly make sure your player is sprinting. So if you're sprinting to the right, release both analog sticks as well as your sprint, push the right analog stick up and down repeatedly to perform multiple scissor feints. Deciding between first and second place was so tough, but in first place for me is the chop turn. Any player can perform a chop turn, but ideally the player needs chop turn player skill to put it off effectively. Once again, this is a move that disengages that lock-on from defenders, much like the scissor feint, and it's super effective for shifting the ball past your opponent, especially onto your strong foot, and smashing one into the corner. To get the most out of this player skill, you need to chop to the side without any closing defenders. This is ideal when cutting in diagonally from the wing. It allows you to either go on the outside and then get a cross in, or you can cut inside and unleash a shot on goal. To perform the chop turn, release both analog sticks, push the right analog stick in the direction the player is facing, and then followed by the left analog stick 30 degrees by the way the player is facing. The beauty about these 3 skills is that you can perform these all match, and there's little your opponent can do to prevent it. In fact, they usually end up just getting frustrated and fouling you because they know what's coming, but they cannot stop it. Now I want to share some pro tips on these 3 skills. Let's first start with the chop turn. One of the reasons this is my #1 go-to skill is because it allows you to kill defenders by using their momentum against them. And what I mean by that is you've got a defender either chasing back or cutting in from the side, and you use that momentum, you see that, and then you sort of angle off, and then you use that skill move to cut inside them. And I'm going to give you examples of that here. Now, my player's first touch isn't ideal, but I can see Rijkaard closing in from the right, who I've highlighted. Look at my controller. I've already released the left analog stick and right analog stick because I already know what I've got planned in my head if he comes across, which he is going to. Now let's focus on the timing and also the distance, so how long it takes to produce the skill in terms of what happens on the screen. So we established that Rijkaard is sprinting back. That actually makes the skill easier to perform because the distance can be quite significant. Look at the distance between Neymar and Rijkaard when I start initiating the right analog stick to perform the skill move. You can see the true impact of his momentum and how long it takes him to stop and turn, allowing me time to get away and make the pass out wide. This is against one of the best and most nimble midfielders in the game. The other scenario you might face is people charging straight at you, which is quite common, especially online. My player has just received the ball and there's not much time or space between my player and his to react, but you can already see at what point I've released all my controls ready for the chop turn. Then I go ahead to initiate the right analog stick. Look at the distance between my player and his. This is what I'm talking about when it talks about timing, and it actually makes it a little bit easier because he's charging head on. And you're going to find that happens a lot online. Next, let's take a look at the double touch. This is best used when moving towards a defender who is jockeying or charging straight at your player. The beauty about the double touch is that it's very forgiving in terms of timing. Here, I wasn't sure if the defender was going to come out and press me, but he in fact stays back. And because Neymar has the quicker version of the double touch, I could execute it twice to go around him. And that's what I mean by it's very forgiving in terms of timing. I get it wrong the first time, but I can just use another one just to go around him. Let's take a look at the timing and the distance between the players when you should start to think about executing this move. I'm going to ignore the first double touch as that was done in error. So at this point, I'm releasing all of my controls. Then I push the right analog stick, then quickly followed by the left analog stick. It is a pretty quick move. And that's what I love about the double touch. It's very quick, very fast, very efficient to perform this move. And this is the ideal scenario for the double touch when you're sprinting at a defender, because it gives you a lot of space and time to pick a pass or shot once you're around your opponent. It will also make your opponent think, should I charge out or should I stay back? And now for the final skill, the scissor feint. You're going to notice that in this play, I sprint towards the touchline to create a little bit of distance between myself and the defenders. I use a fake shot to stop quickly and face towards goal by pressing the shoot and then the pass button. I then sprint to create a gap between the two defenders, and I turn intentionally here, just ever so slightly, angling myself ready for that 90-degree quick turn with the next scissor feint. Once again, I'm using that player's momentum against him as he's probably worried about me cutting inside for a shot on goal. The one tip I would recommend with the scissor feint is only using it once in a row. Don't try multiple step overs. The only time you want to use multiple step overs is if you're enticing a defender towards you because he's standing off you, sort of like a bit of a cat and mouse situation, or if you're one-on-one with the goalkeeper, that will draw him out and then you can either sidestep to the left or right and go around him. Now, before I leave you, make sure you tie these skills in together with the finesse dribble. The finesse dribble is an essential part of your dribbling game. By combining this with the skills that I've just talked about, it's going to make you a force to be reckoned with on the pitch and will leave your opponents guessing as to what you're going to do next. To perform the finesse dribble, all you need to do is hold the left trigger and then use the left analog stick to move your player about, and he's going to drag the ball under his foot, and this enables you to turn very, very quickly. I will bring out a full video on how to get the most out of the finesse dribbling, and this is performed more effectively if your player has the sole control player skill. So just note that. So when you want to do a finesse dribble, make sure the player has the sole control player skill. There you have it, my top 3 recommended skills, as well as one extra tip to use in eFootball that are so easy to perform and yet so effective. Let me know your top 3 skills in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to share, like and subscribe. And until next time guys, take care of yourselves, stay safe, I'll see you soon, bye bye.